Lambda, Verse and Prose, Grade 3, Theory. So you're going to have to answer questions about 2 characters taken from your prose piece. So it's important that you've really read the book thoroughly and that you've chosen 2 characters that you particularly like. You're also going to be asked the fundamental difference between verse and prose. Now, in my experience, this is where students really struggle because it's hard to remember. So I'm going to read to you now what Lambda says. Prose is the usual form of written and spoken language. In English, words flow continuously across the page and are broken down into sentences and paragraphs. Prose writing usually follows a logical sequence and a grammatical order. Verse. Verse is immediately recognizable on the page because the words are arranged into patterns. Verse may be broken up into stanzas, but it is not essential. Verse often has little grammatical order. Insignificant but grammatically necessary words may be omitted, and the accepted word order changed. In some modern verse, there is little or no punctuation and even a lack of capital letters. Verse may also make more use of figures of speech, such as similes and metaphors, than prose. Often, verse rhymes at the line endings. So how do we remember that? I've come up with these little stories, so I want you to just go with me. This one is about prose, how to remember prose. Prose is the non-poem one, so the one from a piece from a book. So, our story is about Rosie Prose. Rosie Prose was getting into trouble from the headmaster because of the way she writes and speaks. The headmaster was going on in a continuous flow of boringness. Eventually, he sentenced her to do 12 parachute jumps into the school field, or she would have to face Granny's orders. Dum dum dum. She turned to him and said, "Sir, that doesn't make logical sense." So Rosie Prose was getting into trouble for the way she writes and speaks. The headmaster's going on in a continuous flow of boringness. Eventually he sentences her to do 12 parachute jumps into the school field or face Granny's orders. Dum dum dum. She turns to him and says, "Sir, is that logical?" So, if you can remember those key words with that story, say it over and over to yourself again and again until you can say the story in your head and just say the words out. Prose, the way we write and speak. Sentences, paragraphs, grammatical order, logical sequence. Then you will retain the basis for knowing what is prose. Okay? The next one's a little bit harder, it's a bit longer. This one's about Vera verse. So the key words we have to remember about verse are, it's recognisable on the page because it's ordered into patterns and stanzas. There's little grammatical order. Insignificant words are omitted. Omitted means cut out, can be cut out. The order can change of the words. There may be little or no punctuation, little or no capitals. It may use figures of speech like similes or metaphors, and it often rhymes. Okay, so here's my story. Vera Verse was on holiday when she recognised one of her friends by the patterns on her dress. She says hello. Then they stand around awkwardly. Oh, until the little granny comes over and orders them to whisper insignificant words into her little dog Omit's ear. So the 2 girls get down, they start whispering insignificant words into Omit's ear. Suddenly the granny goes, "Ah! Orders changed!" At this, Vera gets very angry, and she's just about to get violent when her friend says, "Look!" and points to a sign that says, "No punching in the capital." Vera figures she can use speech and smiles to talk the granny round, just like the guy she met, and whoa, he was hot. But by doing this, the granny broke into Gangnam Style for no rhyme or reason. Okay, so let's recap that story. Vera Verse recognised her friend on holiday because of the patterns on her dress. They say hello but then stand around awkwardly till the little granny orders them to whisper insignificant words into Omit's ear. Then, "Ah! And Vera starts to feel violent until her friend points to a sign that says, "No punching in the capital." So Vera figures that she can use speech and smiles to win the granny round, just like the guy she met. He was hot. Then the granny breaks into Gangnam Style for no rhyme or reason. I know that one's a little bit difficult, but the more you repeat it to yourself, the more it'll stay in your head. For anyone who doesn't know, an insignificant word are words like a, of, the, for, those in-betweeny words. Okay? So, I hope that's helped. If you have any questions, then please do feel free to message me, and best of luck.